You know, after doing a heartfelt love letter to a game and a lot of house flipping, it's nice to be back to the old routine. Hey! Shh. I'm trying to do an intro. Palworld is a game that asks the question, what if we made Ark, but Pokemon? And Pokemon can wield an AK-47. This game has absolutely blown up in popularity lately, to the point that they have 1 million concurrent players and have sold over 7 million copies. Make that 19 million. Wowza! That's like more than 10. In this game, you play as your dream waifu with every succulent slider at your disposal. Start with the tech your grandpa's adept with and embark on an epic journey of capturing Digimon, training your yokai, and sending your webkins out to labor. Yay! Free labor! In case the bit wasn't clear, this game has been accused of ripping off Pokemon, so for the sake of proving a point I don't think I even needed to make, I'm going to be calling Pals as well as the game Palworld by everything but what they actually are. Anyways, back to Monster Ranch. I was genuinely surprised by Pocket Morty's quality. Like, the ad I kept getting for it on YouTube made it look like some sort of shitty mobile game that was like, look kids, guns, Koromon, what else could you want? However, this couldn't have been further from the truth. The game is shockingly well polished for an early access title, and while there's still some jank, the game holds up in both gameplay and depth that it damn near distracted me from uploading the last review video last month. Want to build a fortress? Do it. Want to capture a bunch of duel monsters to fuse them into a stronger Temtem? You got it. Want to capture a human? Guys, don't worry about it. He's just paying off the property damage he caused to my home, so now he's working for me to pay off the damages. It's not that bad. I mean, he gets paid like 1 cent per year, so that's basically the same thing as minimum wage in the current economy. Okay, look, needless to say, despite this game's cutesy look and, endearing design, this game's dark. I mean, you need to capture a bunch of personas, but you can only hold 5 at a time, so the only reasonable thing to do is send them out to work while you're busy catching the rest of their family. Not to mention, you can butcher them, cook them, and then feed them back to the rest of the Neopets. Oh, and don't think this is exclusive to your Super Auto Pets, you can butcher the humans too! And on tonight's special menu, Filet Mignon. Hannibal Lecter would be proud. Not to mention, you got PAL deck entries, yes, I'm violating the video's rules to explain this, hush, where you can view the data and lore on your favorite cassette beasts. It has few friends because of the perpetually grouchy look on its face, and it drinks energy drinks as the partner skill. Since when was I added to the game? Huh, that's an interesting Nexamon. Wonder what the PAL deck says. Well, I bet certain artists are happy now. Anyways, I ain't Matthias Patrician, so let's stop talking about lore and get back to the gameplay, shall we? There are, in my opinion, 3 core parts of the game that pretty much sum up the whole experience. You've got base building, the whole Pokemon part of the game, and dungeon diving. For the sake of pacing, let's just start with the first one, base building. The base building system in of itself is pretty neat. A base is started once you place the PAL box, and from there it's pretty much up to you. You can build the base in almost any shape and size you like. However, just keep in mind that your Chow can't go any further than the base radius of the PC, so if you plan on automating resources, the resource farms have to be within that radius. And I say almost because this game follows what I dubbed the Rust/Ark building system. What I mean by this is your base is built on a grid relative to how the foundation is placed, and each piece that is part of the structure itself, like walls and roofs, are snapped to this grid. This means that you are pretty limited as far as precise building goes, and you even have to adhere to some form of structural stability. Which, unfortunately, means you can't just make a mega mansion in the sky held up by one singular line of walls. That being said, it's probably for the best though, because your base can be raided by angry Shin Megami Tensei devils or human faction members, and if your foundations get destroyed by them, then the whole structure collapses. So it's generally recommended to form defenses, have your base's Dream Eaters bulked up, and to not build your house on one foundation piece. Also, if you build a base that's larger than the radius of your PAL box, just be aware that the base parts outside the radius will deteriorate or be attacked by random PALs, so unless you like maintenance, I'd suggest keeping your base PAL box radius sized. Once you've got a sturdy base, you can also look into resource automation, which is my personal nitty-gritty. I don't know if it's because I'm a programmer or because of my blistering autism, but I just love automation in a video game. It just fills me with so much dopamine just watching everything just seamlessly work together like a smooth, buttered up machine. Buttered up? Oiled up? It doesn't matter. Lubricant's lubricant. The PAL box is the key to a base's success. Once you've captured more than 5 Genshin Impact characters, they'll start to accumulate in your box. And if you open that PAL box, you'll find that there's a slot to send one of them outside to work at the base. This is the core part of the automation. All your Final Fantasy XIV minions have special labor skills that allows them to do limited tasks. However, while they might be limited, they can sometimes do that task better than other pinatas, or even in some cases better than you. I mean, unless you leveled up crafting speed? Why would you do that? These skills can range anywhere from crafting, building, cooking, smelting, woodcutting. I mean, if there's a skill in the game, there's a good shot one of your little bastards can work it. I fell in love with the system. There's just something so cool about building a fortress and then watching all your Moshi monsters defend your fort from raiders. With base building being kind of a mandatory part of a lot of survival games, it makes me kind of wish that more games had this wave defense part where like just random attacks happen and you had to defend from it. It'd make the base building part seem a little bit more engaging than just build house done. But no worries, if base building isn't your cup of tea, you can always dive into the monster hunting and dungeons part of the game. This game functions very much like Pokemon Legends Arceus, where you just go out in an open world and you find random puffles to catch. Catching Animal Crossing villagers is arguably one of your best sources of experience, which you'll definitely need not only to beef up your Lumions, but also to learn new technologies so you can stop beating everything with a stick you yoinked from a tree. Not only does catching duplicates grant you extra XP, but there's also 137 Fire Emblem cast members that you can collect, all of which available in different regions around the map, so if you want to catch them all, you've got your work cut out for you for the current build. Leveling up your player character is super important for the sake of gear progression. You start the game living out your Unga Bunga dreams, but as you level up, you unlock shields from Borderlands, better armor, a bow that can shoot 3 arrows at once, the mighty blender, and so on and so forth. All of these unlocks will turn you from a caveman to booty short enthusiast, which makes you capable of tackling harsher challenges. Once you're all geared up, you're ready to start tackling dungeons. Dungeons in this game are pretty neat. Once you hop in, you can find special Adopt Me pets that you'd be hard-pressed to find early game and fight an elite Warcraft pet. In these dungeons, you can find loot chests just scattered around the map, and once you open them, you can find things like money, arrows, and okay, come on, these are just bootleg devil fruits. But the funny thing is, these fruits are actually the main things you're looking for. The fruits provide you typed moves, like TMs in Pokemon, where you can teach a Tomodachi Islander new moves, even if those moves don't make a lick of sense. Grookey, use flamethrower. But wait, there's more. On top of finding these fruits, if you really wanted to, you can catch the elite at the end, so it sort of makes it worth it if you want a bunch of giant creatures with bulky stats. Oh, and one more thing I forgot to mention, these dungeons are seemingly randomly generated, but it's actually kind of hard to tell when the dungeons look relatively the same outside of a couple rooms. The game's in early access though, so hopefully after they knock out the major issues they're focused on, we can get some new scenery for these dungeons. That being said, once you had your fill of the dungeons and you come out stronger than you did entering them, it's time for you to take on the towers, the homes of the big bosses. And good lord! I mean, I know I'm not good at video games, but if I wanted to be made into a decorative rug, I would have paid for it. Actually, now that I think about it, I did pay for it. This is not getting bodied, because there's no body left afterwards. I've been Thanos snapped, reduced to atoms, almost as if I forgot to hit the like and subscribe button. See what I did there? It was pretty funny, right? I'm wanted in 17 counties. These bosses are tough. They got chonky health, big damage, and the only reason I survived was because I had 5 little bullet sponges to carry the fight. Despite the bosses being more difficult than getting a conversation out of a dry texture, I never felt like it was unwarranted. I mean, the game literally warns you like, hey buddy, bring the few friends you have and get ready to be dunked on, so it's entirely on me for going in cocksure about how swift the victory would be. That being said, it was 100% worth it, as completing these bosses give you good amounts of XP and loot. Though to be honest, I kinda wish they made this boss whip out the Vulcan from the trailer. I'm just saying. Sonic Adventure's Chow Garden was made with chaotic fun in mind, and it clearly shows. I mean, the sheer freedom this game gives the player out the gate is sort of hilarious, and the fact that this game is being sold at half the price of a modern Pokemon title and somehow still managed to be more content-packed than the recent games is just absolutely mind-blowing. And the game has a mostly functional multiplayer system? What excuse do you possibly have now, Pokemon Company? I mean, look, just look. Wow, notice how it works? That's so crazy. While single player is certainly fully enjoyable in its own right, multiplayer is where I easily put most of my playtime into. Being able to join your friends as you adventure through the world and capture Bakugan with them is easily the best part of the game. Granted, they definitely had more time than I did. We formed bases together, captured many fossil fighters, strategized base optimization for maximum resource output, and went out to complete dungeons. It was just sick. It was good fun. That being said, the game ain't perfect yet, which is expected for an early access title, but still. First off, while I've been memeing on the fact that this game is being accused of stealing Pokemon designs, some of them are a bit on the nose. I mean, look, Kremis is just Eevee. You can't tell me I'm wrong. Plus, this one looks like Decidueye on a conceptual level. It's a lot like looking into a mirror and then that mirror's missing your nose. Like, I mean, it's you. It's just got some details missing. It's not hard to figure that out. Also, parts of the UI is just Arc. Straight up. Look at this. Which one is Arc? Which one is Dragon Quest Monsters? If it weren't for the fact that Arc is an unoptimized sack of shit, it's likely you wouldn't have known. Now, I'm in a party that believes inspiration is fine. There's no such thing as an original concept, someone somewhere has done it already, but they could have tried a little bit harder to make it less obvious. Also, it feels like player progression is really slow. Like, when I say slow, I'm talking 17 hours of gameplay and still being level 18. It was so bad that I had to make a new world with a boosted XP slider so I could experience all the facets of the game fast enough for this review. I understand the importance of grinding a game, especially when it has the capacity to be a multiplayer experience, but 17 hours and not being a high enough level to fight the first elite monster in the starting area? That's just egregious. Also, there were points where the AI just ceased working properly. Like, sometimes they would just be working a job without stopping, and other times they would just do, well, whatever this is. This is funny to see, but you get the point. Also, you can climb onto a ball while it's catching a... Huh. I finally ran out of other titles. Okay, back to pals then. You can climb onto a ball while it's catching a pal and initiate the world's first Palworld space program. Despite these problems though, Palworld is an absolute gem. The bugs and issues I just listed never felt too intrusive for me to enjoy what this game has to offer. And for an indie studio to absolutely one-up a mega corporation like Pokemon Company is nutty. And if you want to grab it, it's on Steam, early access, right now, and I think it's pretty reasonably priced. And with the promises that were made on the roadmap, I'll be keeping a close eye on this game for a fat minute, and I'm especially interested how they're going to handle PvP. But it's probably going to be a fat minute before that update drops, so until then, this has been the Bottom Dweller. And remember to clear your internet history.